We are officially in the phase 4 of the alpha for Midnight. And in this video, I'm going to specifically talk about Brewmaster changes, and then I'm going to talk about other tanks and maybe other classes in other videos, but I want to dedicate this one to specifically the Brewmaster because we're seeing some good changes. We've seen some addition of talents, some fixes, so I'm going to talk about all that in this video. So the big thing for the monk specifically actually isn't any specific Brewmaster changes. All it is additions to the hero talents. So this includes both Shado-pan and Master of Harmony. And so here we have the Shado-pan was changed to now, instead of affecting Weapons of Order, it's now invoked the Black Ox, which is something that I kind of talked about and potentially alluded to in previous videos, where I thought that since they removed weapons, I thought it was weird that they would then add it back in as baseline. People were speculating it would be added as like a baseline ability for the Brewmaster because of all of these tooltips for specifically Shado-pan. But now we know it is off of the Black Ox. Additionally, efficient training, which used to give cooldown reduction based on energy spent, now affects your Black Ox cooldown. So there's a couple of things that this means, and this for better or for worse. This means that if you're playing Shado-pan, similarly, if you're playing it on live, where you have to actually play Weapons of Order when playing Shado-pan, in this case, you're probably going to need to play your Black Ox because that is the trigger condition for Wisdom of the Wall. If you're not playing it, you're not going to benefit from Wisdom of the Wall or efficient training or some of these other abilities. Now, the only thing that I really am kind of still just like kind of confused on, and I don't know if this is intended or if they plan on changing this in the future, but right now we have Weapons of the Wall, which flurry charge generations increased by 50%. That's fine, that's good. Flurry strikes activate every 150 energy spent during invoke Nizao the Black Ox. Problem that I have with this is that flurry strikes has been changed to no longer require energy to be spent. So it's still weird that by spending energy, it's going to discharge the flurry strikes, but it discharges on every keg smash anyways. So this doesn't feel like it should work. Like, it doesn't make sense, because if you spend 150 energy and you spend it on a keg smash, which is already discharging your flurry strikes, like what's the point? You know, like, does that make sense? Every time you keg smash, you're capping it at 10 already, like your keg smash, and then it's going up to 10, and that's it. And then yeah, I don't know. It feels like it's still incomplete to me. It does make sense that Wisdom of the Wall now affects our Celestial. It just does. How it works is basically you're going to get a stack. Now the stack is currently bugged and it's giving 2 times the percentage damage compared to 1% like the tooltip states. The Shado-pan fighter's damage is increased by 1% per flurry strike you've triggered, this is what it's counting, the 152. So it's going to go to 162, and then I'm going to keg smash again, it's going to go to 172. But you can see the tooltip is increasing its damage by 344%, which is a lot. But what happens is if we come over here, maybe because there's just less targets, you should be able to see it. When you hit the Black Ox, you're also going to see the Shado-pan fighter, who is going to just do some damage, which is not showing up in the combat log at all, so I don't really know. You can see it's doing damage here. It's not terrible. It's just kind of like a passive damage increase. This is really boring to me. Yeah, there it goes. But it still feels, like I said, like incomplete at times. The one other bug that's currently happening is as you spend energy, you're gonna notice my cooldown's gonna go up. So I'm at 115. I'm gonna hit keg smash. 115. Oh, I hit early, but it went up to 117. So currently the cooldown reduction for efficient training is working the opposite way. It's adding a second to our cooldown and not subtracting the second from our cooldown. So you're not really getting cooldown reduction right now, but this should knock your Nizao down to like a minute. Similar to Weapons of Order, it's going to be like a minute 40-ish, maybe, cooldown, give or take, depending on like haste and stuff. So yeah, that was one of the more immediate changes, I guess, or interesting changes to the tree. Now they added the Master of Harmony stuff. So let's swap over to this, and let's talk about this one. So as you guys predicted, similar to the Shado-pan one, all they've done is they've added our season 3 tier set from the War Within into the tree. So we have Harmonic Surge remaining. Now the tuning on this is probably going to change. It's probably not going to be as, I would imagine, by the time this game comes out, by the time Midnight releases, it's probably not going to be as powerful or as much of a contributing factor to our overall damage, but it's probably still going to be relatively impactful. I think this is a great set. Like, I'm glad they're keeping it. But basically, casting Celestial Brew guarantees that your next 2 Tiger Palms or Vivify will trigger Harmonic Surge, dealing damage. That's actually interesting. Is it Vivify on live? I didn't even know that, if that is the case. Oh, yeah, I still have my tier set on, so it's giving me 2 stacks. That's crazy. Okay. What's interesting is the tier set from live, I guess. Actually, I can read it. It's just Tiger Palm, where in this case, it's also Vivify. Yeah, wow, okay. Sick. That's cool, I guess. They also have this nice little effect. This is new. This like little glow. Oh. It's actually that's kind of like nice. I like this. Pop Celestial Brew, bam. There's a big nice icon on top, not having to rely on weak auras to track if you have access to potential energy. That's good. So it's gonna work like before. It's just now you can also cast Vivify. So I think that's a great change. What's nice about this, and I think this is more for, I'd imagine this is the same for Mistweaver, but being able to get healing from Harmonic Surge from range and not requiring melee to proc it is probably pretty important. So that's good. We also have potential energy. Oh, I guess it's Harmonic Surge and potential. Yeah, no, it's this. Okay, never mind. I'm dumb. I'm tripping up over the words. So casting Keg Smash guarantees that your next cast of Tiger Palm Vivify will cause a Harmonic Surge. And so if we cast Keg Smash, we gain one of these buffs. So your Keg Smash actually also becomes a catalyst for proccing it. I feel like that's going to make this bloated as fuck, right? So it's nice because it's no longer based on taking damage. Like, that's the problem with our current tier set on live, is that it's based on gaining vitality. So it's either taking damage or dealing damage. And then the 4 set is what allowed us to control it and have actual, like, just control over the procs. Agency, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. So this makes it a little more consistent. My concern, though, with Keg Smash is that if you're drinking your brews regularly, I feel like you're going to gain so many stacks so quickly. Every time you Keg Smash, it'll be interesting to test it in like actual dungeon environments. Probably it's like I'm already energy starved. Jesus Christ. I think that's pretty good though. Like, I don't know. I think having just agency over it, or having it be more consistent with Keg Smash versus just like gaining vitality or you're taking damage basically, is a little bit more consistent. So that's good. And then last but not least, we have a thing called Zenith. So this affects Blackout combo and Press the Advantage. So unlike Shado-pan, where you feel like you have to play Invoke the Black Ox, you kind of have to play this node here. Which I don't know if it's a problem yet. I don't think so, because Blackout combo has always been insanely overpowered for like a single talent point. So, you know, chances are we'd run it anyways. But what it does is it increases Tiger Palm's damage by an additional 50%, and Keg Smash reduces the cooldown of your brews by an additional second. So it's adding 50% value to the Blackout combo modifiers. That's good. Press the Advantage. Nature damage dealt by your main Nature damage dealt by your main hand auto attacks is increased by 50%, and they now reduce your brews by an additional 0.25 seconds. So it's now 1 second instead of 0.75 and more nature damage. Now the concern is how does this work with triggering Harmonic Surge? So previously, how it works on live if you play it is your 6th hit, or not your 6th hit, what am I talking about? Your 10th hit of Press the Advantage will discharge pretty much all 6 stacks, which is just objectively worse, because what ends up happening is you're overcapping. You're essentially munching those procs, because you're going to sit at max stacks. You might Keg Smash a few more times. You might hit Celestial Brew once before actually hitting it, but then you don't actually benefit. So here we have 1, 2, and we'll drink a brew. Let's get to 4. We're at 5. Eventually, yeah, now we're just sitting at 6. And we can, yeah, it still caps at 6. And then it should discharge all of it, yeah, in one big go. Which, don't get me wrong, hits pretty hard, it looks like. It hit for 15k critical. It's not bad, but the issue with it is that you're naturally going to overcap, which means you're wasting that potential damage. So it's great for players who like playing Press the Advantage or don't like the button bloat, even though I think they're removing that already by taking out the Rising Sun kick. There's just still some logistical issues. Why is the cap... Okay, I mean, I know why. Like, why is there a cap on potential energy stacks? Or harmonic surge stacks? I mean, realistically, like, imagine if you were able to build up to, like, 30 stacks without auto-attacking, and then you go in for, like, a crazy auto-attack, and you just blow something up, and you hit it for, like, 100k. Like, that'd be wild, but... I think with Zenith, ultimately, you're more going to be focused on the blackout combo benefit than the Pressy Advantage. It just makes me sad that, like, Pressy Advantage is still not super useful. It might even be better for Shado-pan, but you want to spend energy, so, like, maybe it's just, like, a bad talent. I don't know. It sucks because I like the idea of Pressy Advantage. I think with how this has changed, though, I feel like it shouldn't be your main hand auto attacks. It should just be your auto attacks, period. Because then dual wielding would actually, like, it would be viable playing in this build. You're not getting a bunch of cooldown reduction anymore. All you're doing is getting an extra auto attack or an extra Tiger Palm at 150, at 100% effectiveness. So I don't know. But anyways, I think those are all of the Brewmaster changes that we saw in this build. There's still a ton of bugs, don't get me wrong. So we need, hopefully, those to get fixed. I'd imagine that a lot of those bugs, though, and interactions won't get fixed until beta. So yeah, we'll have to see. I will say this, though. I've been, I'm going to just reiterate this point. I think Brewmaster is shaping up to be a really fun, interesting spec going into alpha or going into midnight. I think a lot of the new talents are looking really good. I think the additions, I think their tier sets in the War Within, they really cooked, especially in season. That's the only thing I was actually thinking about this earlier. I really want them to implement their season 1 tier set from the War Within somehow. Because I think having, like, your Keg Smash resets felt so good. Whenever you would, like, Blackout Kick and High Roll. Oh man, that was so good. That was so good. That was such a good tier set. But yeah, Brewmaster's looking so good to me. Obviously, it's still early alpha. Well, I should just say it's alpha. It's not even early alpha anymore. It's still alpha. Betas should be soon. Like, we have one more week of alpha stuff, and then I'd imagine servers may or may not go down for a while, a couple weeks, and then beta is going to be available to players. So hopefully that's when people really start getting their hands in there, start testing, figuring out what's good, what works. But overall, I think it's really shaping up to be, I think, a fun tank. So anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. Hopefully I answered kind of any questions or concerns or just inquisitions you had about inquiries? Yeah, inquiries about the alpha build this week. So I'm going to be covering some of the other tanks in separate videos, but yeah. Anyways, I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.